Today we are going to learn about regulated power supply, which is DC regulated power supply. What is called DC regulated power supply? So what exactly DC regulated power supply? So why do we apply 220 volt as a source? Here is 220 volt as a source into a primary of a transformer. Primary of a transformer. Suppose this is 0 volt and this is 220 volt. Primary of a transformer. Here we are able to get 0 volt as well as, for example, 12 volt in the case of a secondary of a transformer. So we apply this particular 0 volt into diode and this particular 12 volt into diode junction along with a bridge rectifier. Here we'll be able to get negative voltage, that means minus voltage. Here we will get positive voltage. So as per our previous video, as we know, this is a bridge rectifier which rectifies full wave rectification in the form of wave as well. So after positive and after we are getting negative with this particular black wire as well as blue wire, and this particular DC which is possible by this rectifier is being is being filterized by this particular capacitor. So this is pure. Now here we are to get pure DC. That means we can say filtered DC. Suppose, for example, instead of 12 volt, if it is 15 volt, so we'll be able to get here exactly in the case of 15 volt around 18 volt or maybe above voltages. 18 volt or greater than. So if we need out of this particular power supply exactly 12 volt, what we need? Exactly 12 volt or exactly 9 volt or exactly 5 volt. So what we have to do? We have to use a voltage regulator IC. This is a voltage regulator IC with a name LM78, and here is 1 2. Here is 1 2. So what is 1 2? So the series of regulated positive voltage power supply, positive power voltage power supply LM78, here is XX. So what is XX? So LM78 meant for positive voltage regulator, and XX if I write 0.5, so this define the voltage, output voltage. This particular 0.5 define the output voltage. Suppose I am having a voltage regulator IC, so 78, I write XX in place of XX. So I have to fill 7805. If I write 7809, if I write 7812, so this particular 78 of belongs to LM are defined for positive regulator or positive. This particular is a positive regulator. This is again defined positive. This also defined positive regulator IC. And this 05, this 09, this 12 is mainly for the output voltage. What? The output voltage, the output volt, which is delivered or which is produced or which is delivered by this particular 7812, 7805, either 789. 7805 gives us, suppose our input voltage is 18 volt. What is this? Input voltage. This is our input voltage is 18 volt. If we use 7805, that means, so input is 18 volt, but this is DC. We'll be able to get output 05. That means 5 volt DC. Number one. If we use 7812, 78 meant for positive. So if we apply again 18 volt DC, we'll be able to get, here is the voltage, we'll be able to get 12 volt DC. What is this? This is our input, and here we will be able to get our output voltages. So what exactly? This is exactly our power supply, DC power supply regulation. That means if this 18 volt would be somewhere maybe up or down, maybe 15 volt, maybe something, maybe up to 12 volt. So it has to give 12 volt over here. So if the fluctuation in the primary input, if the fluctuation is there in the input, so there will be no fluctuation in the output voltage. What exactly use of this particular voltage regulator? So that's why we can say this is a regulated DC volt power supply or regulated DC voltage. So the circuitry seems to be this. We apply 220 volt to the primary, we'll be able to get, okay, for example, 0, I can say 15 volt or 0, 12 volt, we are getting the secondary AC. This bridge rectifier rectifies AC into DC, and this is pulsating DC, not pure DC. By applying this capacitor, that particular pulsating DC is being filtered, and here we will be able to get, here means I'm trying to show you in red color. Here I'm trying to get here this particular two wires or two terminals a DC voltage which is filtered DC, and this particular filtered DC which is minus, as well as here is a plus voltage is fed to this particular regulated IC. Here is a 3 pins in regulated IC voltage regulator. So the pin number 1, this is pin number 2, this is pin number 3. Here is input voltage, here is ground, here is output voltage. If we apply 18 volt, 15 volt over here, if this is 12 volt regulator, we'll be able to get constant plus 12 volt DC at its output. If the voltage is fluctuated over here or maybe varied sometimes, so this 12 volt DC will never be varied and not be fluctuated. So this is what exactly the use of 7/8 series of LM IC. This is called voltage regulator IC. So this is the use. And in our upcoming videos, we'll be able to do it all such in a practical manner, not too theoretical. And apart from this, there are other different type of voltage regulators we will discuss in our next videos. Thank you.